Number 1. James Cameron's Spider-Man. Not only was this the most recognized canceled Spider-Man movie, but the most well-known canceled Marvel movie of all time. James Cameron, the director of Titanic, Aliens, Terminator, and later Avatar, is actually a big fan of the character of Spider-Man and wanted to direct a Spider-Man movie. But not just your average superhero film. This one was going to be an R-rated Spider-Man film, which included lots of swearing and a sex scene that took place on the Brooklyn Bridge. For the cast, Leonardo DiCaprio was going to play Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, Robin Lively as Mary Jane Watson, Maggie Smith as Aunt May, and Arlie Ermey as J. Jonah Jameson. As for the villains, Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to play Dr. Octopus, Lance Hendrickson was going to be Electro, and Michael Biehn would be Sandman. This film ended up being canceled because Marvel went bankrupt and had to sell half of the rights to their characters to different movie companies. I personally am glad this film never happened, considering the fact that an R-rated Spider-Man film was not a good idea due to Spider-Man being a more kid-friendly icon, but that's just me. Number 2. Canon Films' Spider-Man movie. Canon Films. The studio most well known for schlock like Masters of the Universe, Cobra, and Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. Then again, they did make Highlander, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and the Chuck Norris movies, so I shouldn't be too harsh. Anyways, in 1986, Canon Films was originally supposed to make the very first Spider-Man film. The film would have starred Steve Leva as Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and Bob Hoskins as Dr. Octopus. It would have been directed by Joseph Zito. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be, as Canon Films went out of business in 1994, resulting in the film's cancellation. It wasn't all bad news, though, as elements for the film were reworked in the 1989 film Cyborg. And no, not the DC version. This is yet another Spider-Man film I'm glad was canceled, because while Canon Films has made some good movies, most of their movies are complete garbage. Number 3. The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Before Spider-Man made it into the MCU, Sony tried to do their own cinematic universe with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man after the former scrapped the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe after the latter was upset with Spider-Man 3. Two Amazing Spider-Man films were confirmed to be released. This and the Sinister Six movie, which I will get into part 2. This film was also rumored to include Felicity Jones as Black Cat, along with Emmy Rossum, I don't know how you pronounce her name, as Spider-Girl, and Angelina Jolie as Spider-Woman. Not bad casting, if you ask me. But due to the Sony hack of 2014, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 bombing at the box office, the ASM universe was scrapped and Sony teamed up with Marvel to allow Spider-Man in the MCU. And I'm glad that the ASM universe is gone now, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have gotten Spider-Man Homecoming. My favorite Spider-Man film of all time, in my opinion, of course.